Women's Yoga, and today is day 1 of 30 minutes of yoga for 1 month, 31 days, to raise money for the Canadian Cancer Society. If you would like to move and breathe along with me, please consider donating at the link on my post. We'll begin in easy pose, moving your glutes out of the way, stacking your spine, shoulders over hips. Shoulders are shrugged down and away from the ears, chin slightly tucked. You can bring your left hand to your chest and your right hand to your belly. Start to focus in on your breath. You can gently close your eyes or bring your gaze down. Focusing in on your breath makes you mindful of the present moment, connects you to your body, and helps relieve your stress. Gently batting the eyes open, you can bring your hands to your knees. Inhale, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, roll them back down the body. 2 more like this. Now taking your right hand towards the left side of your temple. Inhale to center. Exhale, bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Breathe here. Inhale, let go. Bring your head back to center. Bringing your left hand to the right side of your temple. Inhale here. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Inhale, release the head, come back to center. Sliding the right hand along the mat. Inhale, the left hand up and over, crescent to the right. Look up. Breathe here. Feeling the stretch along the side body. Inhale, sliding the hand back, bringing the left hand back and over. Exhale to center. Inhale as you slide the left hand, crescent the right over to the left. Inhale back to center. Now keeping your left shin parallel to your mat, bring your right foot just in front of that shin. Wrap the back of your forearm around your left knee. Inhale, bring your right arm up. Feel the length in your spine as you do this, reaching up for the ceiling. Exhale, round your hand behind you. Bring your hand around behind you and look back over your right shoulder. Keeping the spine tall as you twist, looking to the back of the room. and breathe. Inhale, untwist, come back to center. Switch the legs, bringing the right foot parallel to your mat. Left foot tucks in front. Bring the back of the right forearm around the left knee. Inhale, left arm comes up, reach up for the ceiling. Crescent back with that left hand and look back over your left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. Turning yourself towards the short edge of your mat. Crawl over your knees, come into tabletop position. Knees will come directly under the hips, hands directly under the shoulders. Shining your elbows forward, fingers spread wide apart. Untuck your toes. In your tabletop, back should be flat, navel should be to your spine. Staying here for a moment, finding a nice firm base, pressing into the fingertips. On your next inhale, drop the belly as you tilt the pelvis up and lift your gaze up, looking up towards the ceiling. Into cow pose, and then flip it on the exhale. Tilt the pelvis down around the back, drop the head. Moving with your breath, inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. Bring some rotations. So starting from your rib cage, as you're inhaling down and the rib cage comes down, rotating it up and around. Same breath, breathing out and in. And rotating the other direction. Coming back to tabletop, widen your knees as wide as your mat, bringing your toes to touch. Walk your hands forward, drop your hips back, rounding the upper back body if you have some space to do so. Dropping your forehead to the mat, child's pose, balasana. Inhale, pull up on your hands, coming back into tabletop. Bringing your knees back together. Now we're going to flow between child's pose and a low lunge variation. So we start back here in child's pose on the exhale. This is that child's pose, knees together. Inhale, pull up on the hands. Step the right foot up beside the right hand. Inhale here to a low lunge. Exhale back to child's pose. Inhale up to low lunge on the left this time. Pushing your hips down towards the ground. And exhale back into child's pose. 2 more like that, both sides. From child's pose, bring your hands out, make sure they're shoulder width. Shining your elbows forward and fingers nice and spread wide, tucking your toes under. Inhale, bring the hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. Shoulders are shrugged up the back, belly's reaching towards the thighs, slight bend in your knees, and you can walk your dog a little bit, bringing your heels up one at a time. Or find stillness in your downward dog. On your next exhale, walk the hands forward slightly. Bring your hips down so they're in line with your shoulders. Dome through your shoulders, spreading your shoulder blades wide. Come into plank pose. Navel's reaching right for the spine. Back is flat. Pelvis is tucked under. Breathe here. Inhale, reach the hips back up, coming back into downward dog. You might have to step up slightly for that. Step, hop, or jump to the top of your mat, bringing your feet to your hands. Slight bend into your knees here so that you can bring your belly towards your thighs. Let your head drop down towards the ground. Spine round. Feeling a stretch in the lower back and along the hamstrings. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back position, navel pull to spine. Exhale, back into forward fold. Inhale, slowly roll up to standing mountain pose. Bring your hands together at heart center, crossing your fingers over one another, but leaving your pointer fingers and thumbs out. Inhale, lift your fingers towards the ceiling, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, crescent to the right without moving your hips, only the upper body moves. Inhale to center, crescent to the left. Inhale, center. 2 more like this. Unhooking your fingers, keeping your arms up and shoulders down. Bring your weight back into your heels. Start to bend into your knees and lean back as if you're about to sit in a chair. Tuck your pelvis under. Chair pose. Uttanasana. No. Chair pose. Keeping your right foot and leg the way it is. Lift up your left knee, step it back. Up on the ball of the toe in the back. Legs should be hip width apart. Back leg is straight, front knee can bend a little bit deeper in your high crescent lunge. Step that back foot slightly closer, bring the heel down. Toes are pointing at a 45 towards the top left corner of your mat. Bend as deep as you can in that front leg. Warrior 1. Now is a good time to have your blocks close by. Mine are on the wrong side of my mat. So I'm just going to grab them quick. From our Warrior 1, position. Our feet are going to stay planted where they are, and we straighten the front leg, straighten the back, hinge at the hips, reaching towards the ground or towards your blocks, bringing your back parallel to the ground, navel to spine, breathing here in pyramid pose. The back heel can come up off the floor if you need a bit more space here, or you can also step it a little bit closer, depending on the flexibility of your hamstrings. Now we're going to repeat these last 3 poses in reverse with 1 pose in between. So bringing our blocks with us, let's walk our hands towards the long edge of the mat, pointing our toes towards the long edge of the mat. You can keep yourself up here in a half lift, or let yourself hang into a wide-legged forward fold and let go of those blocks. Keeping a slight bend in your knees, making sure they're not hyperextending. Now bringing those blocks with you as you walk back, pivoting your toes to the other short side of our mat. So now we'll see left toes are pointing towards the short edge of the mat. Right toes are at a 45, pointing towards the top right corner of the mat. Again, shorten your stance if you need to, or come up on the ball of the back foot. Back should be flat and parallel to the ground. Now we can tuck these off to the side, bend into that front knee. We can scooch that back leg back if you have space to do so. Inhale, arms are up, finding ourselves back in Warrior One. Inhale, bringing your heel off the back, pivoting those toes so they're pointing the same direction as the left ones. Straightening, pushing the hamstrings towards the ceiling, high crescent lunge. Exhale, bring your hands down to frame the front foot and step that front foot back to meet the back one, finding your plank, doming the back body, navel to spine. Exhale as you bend your elbows, knees can come down here as you lower towards the floor. Pressing the tops of your feet and your pelvis into the ground. Press through your hands as you look up, shine your heart forward into Cobra. Press through your knees. Bring your knees as wide as your mat, toes to touch. Walk your hands forward and slide your hips back towards your heels. Back into Balasana, Child's Pose. Walk your hands towards your body, bringing your heels over to the side. Scooch your bum down and roll down onto your back. Finding a comfortable position on your back, Might mean bringing the crown of your head up slightly, shrug your shoulders down, but really trying to make a connection with the entire back of your spine, all the way from your shoulders down to your tailbone. So it's a slight tuck of the pelvis again. Now walk your feet out towards the outer edges of your mat and let your knees drop towards each other. You can lay your hands on your belly. Now start to sway your knees back and forth, windshield wipering your legs. Bring your knees in towards your chest, keeping your tailbone down. Hold onto your knees and make some gentle circles clockwise and counterclockwise. And then hug your knees in towards your chest, still keeping that tailbone connected to your mat. Drop your feet down, bringing your arms out to a T shape. Press down into your feet and bump your hips over to the right. Then bring your knees in towards your chest and let them drop to the left. Looking over your right shoulder, feeling a stretch along the side body and the right side of the hip. Inhale to center. Press down in the feet to bump back to center, and then another bump over to the left. Knees come up and drop over to the right, looking over your right shoulder. Left shoulder. Inhale back to center. Center your hips below your shoulders. And then bring your knees back in again. Holding onto your knees, spread your knees wide and bring them in towards your armpits as you raise the bottoms of your feet towards the ceiling. Hands can come to the back of the hamstrings, to the calves, or to the outer edges of the feet in Happy Baby. And again, your tailbone should be in contact with the mat here. You can gently rock back and forth or stay in stillness. Gently lower your feet down, bringing the bottoms, soles of your feet to touch, letting your knees drop wide. It might be helpful here to place some blocks underneath your thighs so that you can really relax into it. Arms can come to the sides or into cactus, or to the belly. Sliding your feet to the outer corners of your mat. If your blocks are there and they don't bother you, they can actually be helpful to stay under your thighs to give a slight bend into your knees, which helps support the lower back. Or you can tuck your blocks off to the side if you don't need them, and just slide your legs long all the way to the outer corners of your mat, making sure your shoulders are still shrugged down, arms are at your sides, palms facing up. Closing your eyes, begin to focus in on your breath. Once you feel your breath slowing down, begin to scan your body, starting at the crown of your head, moving slowly all the way to your toes, looking for points of tension, releasing those points of tension, relaxing into your mat. Slowly scanning and releasing any tense muscles. Feel free to remain in Shavasana as long as you would like, as long as your body needs today. If you're ready to emerge from Shavasana, begin to bring some gentle movements into your fingers and your toes. Roll your hands around your wrists and your feet around your ankles. Bring your hands above your head and give yourself a good morning stretch. And bend your knees and roll over onto your side, propping your head on your arm. Using that top hand to push back up into seated. Bring your hands to heart center. The light in me recognizes, acknowledges, and appreciates the light in each of you. Thank you for practicing with me today. Again, please consider donating to the Canadian Cancer Society for my 30 minutes of yoga a day challenge for this month. Starting today, April 10th, ending on May 10th, I'll be posting a video each day. You can practice along with me. Namaste.